This video is to look at panel truncation or seaming truncation, where the seam is truncated on the corners, and this has particular use on panels like these triangular panels which have a sharp pointy end. If I add a seam allowance to that with no truncation, so this is just a normal seam allowance, we get an extension of the end here due to the seam allowance, which can waste fabric and can be difficult to handle in production. If alternatively we'll specify that we want the corner to be truncated, so I'll use a simple truncation, then when I seam the panel, the corner is truncated off to this size of the seam allowance, and this allows for less fabric wastage. The truncation, of course, is applied on all corners. Wasn't really needed perhaps on these corners, but it just gets added in on all corners. There is some additional features on the corner truncation. Instead of a simple truncation, we can do an arc or tab. I want to just describe the use of the arc. The arc is only used when your construction technique is to sew the panels together, where you place the panels back to back before sewing. Now, some production shops will do this, some won't, so this only applies to you if you're using back-to-back sewing. I've got a set of panels here. I've taken a couple of them as an example, and if I'll go ahead and specify that we're going to make an arc truncation, we can then seam these panels, and in each panel corner that an arc has been added which goes all the way around to be tangential to the two seams. And the reason that that's useful is that if we're going to sew these together back to back, and I'm going to illustrate this by doing a mirror of this panel and then moving the mirror to line up exactly in the corner. So this is the starting point for your sewing, and you can see that when the panel corners line up, also the arcs line up in the corner, and that means that you can start your sewing by lining up the two corner arcs, and the true positions of the panel corners will then be lined up exactly. There is one other option on the truncate corner, which is to create a tab. This is not often used, but it just creates a small piece of fabric which sticks out, and in some production shops that is used for the method that they use to make corners. I don't expect many people to be using that feature.